What's up, guys? It's Zero here. Today we're talking about StarCraft 3 and the possibility of this game happening, the possibility that this may never happen. We've been pounding this table talking about StarCraft 3 and wanting this game to release to the world, and I want to talk to you guys about it, and let's have a real conversation about it in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So guys, we're going to be taking reference from an article coming from Max Borman of Game Rant. It seems pretty clear why StarCraft 3 is not a thing. And I totally disagree with the title right off the rip. I think StarCraft 3 should absolutely be a thing. It is and has been the RTS of our time, and you could argue that there's other real-time strategies out there that are better than StarCraft, but there is such a ravenous fan base around StarCraft, making it at least one more game, like to round out the trilogy, would make complete sense to me. But since the release of StarCraft 2, fans of the franchise have been clamoring for Blizzard to make a third entry. The massive sci-fi universe that the studio has created has been fun to explore, the gameplay has been thrilling, and it felt like there was no stopping this juggernaut. However, there have been no new StarCraft experiences since 2016 besides a remaster in 2017. While fans may be yearning for more content, Blizzard seems to have no reason to explore the franchise further. There are a lot of elements stacked up against a potential StarCraft 3. For starters, the RTS genre does not seem to be the behemoth it once was. Additionally, Blizzard has been making so much more money through other titles that it has no reason to devote resources to the franchise. On top of all of that, the studio's approach to gaming has changed drastically since that original game, so a hypothetical third entry may not even be what fans wanted in the first place. So StarCraft, guys, when it first came out, and then obviously to StarCraft 2, was one of the biggest games on the planet when it came to esports and just like really gaming in general. StarCraft really was one of the founding fathers of esports. And I think, looking back on it, I think StarCraft 2, they did some incredible things. And even, building off of StarCraft 1, I thought that StarCraft 2 was great, and it still holds up to this day. StarCraft 3 would continue elevating the franchise moving forward. And, to think in, this notion that Blizzard couldn't make money off of StarCraft, I think is crazy to me, because you could certainly do a bunch of different types of like microtransactions, new types of skins and things of that nature within StarCraft that the community would definitely back and get behind. And so you could certainly make a number of different business decisions to make more money out of StarCraft. Yes, they certainly have games out there that are way bigger in terms of making money. So I would understand that a little bit more than the notion that StarCraft, they can't really make much money off of. They absolutely could, but yeah, you're gonna have to invest resource and development into creating new skins for different characters, different races, things of that nature. But I think that StarCraft 3, they could really elevate to creating new races that like hybrid races and things of that nature in StarCraft 3, because obviously right now you got the Terran, Zerg, Protoss. Well, you could definitely do like a hybrid race. You could do all kinds of, I just am like thinking in my brain all the different amounts of potential and opportunity that they have within the StarCraft universe to make a StarCraft 3. They could certainly monetize it in a way where they could create a prize pool similar to that of like Dota 2, where the community, when they buy skins, part of it goes to the esports scene, which builds the esports scene. There's a number of ways that they could do this. I think it's more maybe Blizzard just is thinking of it from the perspective of, hey, we've got these other games that make us way more money than StarCraft does. So we're going to focus on those. It makes sense. But at the same time, if they went back to making like a StarCraft 3, they absolutely could monetize it to a point where the community would back it. As long as it's not deceptive to the consumers and the players, we would eat that up all day. And StarCraft 3 would elevate from a perspective of graphics to all kinds of different things, further the story, the lore of StarCraft. There's so much more to explore there. So I totally disagree with the notion like you couldn't make money from a StarCraft 3. You absolutely could. Now, after all these years, StarCraft is still considered by many to be some of the best RTS series on the market. No one really knew what to expect from that first game when it hit store shelves in 1998. While Blizzard has shown that it knew how to make an exciting RTS through Warcraft, this was the first time the studio was going to take its formula to the sci-fi genre. It seemed like a risky endeavor, and it paid off immensely. Not only did it raise the bar for RTS games, but it is still considered by some one of the greatest games ever made. I'll say this, guys. StarCraft 2 is the greatest RTS ever made, in my personal opinion. I believe StarCraft 2 was so great. Like, I had never been really involved in the RTS genre. I was always into the shooter genre, horror games, things of that nature. But when this game came out, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. There's a lot of talk about it. I'm going to play it. Started playing it, dude, and I absolutely love StarCraft 2. And I believe it's the best RTS ever made. I think it's a very, easy game to play, hard to master. The esports scene is incredible. I mean, it's 1v1. It's like the tennis of esports, one of the hardest esports in the world, in my personal opinion, just because of all the different things that you have to do. It's all on you. It's 1v1. I just look at it as such a great series at this point. And I really think that they need to continue it. I really do. And we as the community have to echo this thing into existence. It seemed like Blizzard had a massive new franchise on its hands. So it got to work expanding it with DLC and a Nintendo 64 port. After 12 years, it finally released the hotly anticipated sequel, StarCraft II: Wings of Liberty. Much like its predecessor, it was met with critical acclaim and would go on to be considered one of the greatest games ever made. It once again took the RTS genre to new heights, and its challenging gameplay loop made it a massive sensation on the esports scene. But even with all that, the studio has not really done anything with the IP since. While Blizzard did release some DLCs for StarCraft 2 and remastered the original game in 2017, there has been no StarCraft 3 in sight. Fans yearn for a new experience at every BlizzCon, and every BlizzCon passes without even a mention of the popular franchise. It feels like the series has been shelved for the foreseeable future, which is a shame. However, it really does not seem that surprising. A couple of days ago, former Blizzard developer Jason Hall claimed that World of Warcraft's first shop mount made more money than all of StarCraft 2. If that is truly the case, then it would make sense why the studio would not want to commit to a full-on sequel. If a simple $15 store item can make more than a massive RTS title, then there is really no reason to spend resources on something bigger. Even though fans may want to see what happens next, from a studio perspective, sticking with microtransactions just seems to make more business sense as long as they remain profitable. I understand, I get it, but you could monetize and do microtransactions within StarCraft 3. I'm sorry. You absolutely could. There's a number of ways that you could do it. It doesn't have to be DLC. If you just made StarCraft 3 and you just update StarCraft 3 without even doing DLC or expansions and things of that nature, just focused on StarCraft 3 and you added microtransactions to it, the community is going to buy it, period. Along with that, the RTS genre has definitely faded in popularity a bit over the years. While there are still some popular ones on the market, the industry has mostly moved away from that in favor of more online experiences. That shift is likely why Blizzard's president said that the next entry may not come in the form of an RTS. Though with Microsoft's success in that market thanks to Age of Empires, that may not be the case after all. Fans will just have to wait and see what happens. So, look, I think that the RTS genre has faded because there hasn't been a StarCraft 3. This is the RTS of our time. And the fact of the matter is that StarCraft 3 has not come out. And when you're talking about RTSs, this is the standard. And so the reason why it's lost popularity is because we've had StarCraft 2 for all these years. They haven't made a sequel. And, at the very least, what they could do is create another StarCraft 2 expansion. And I mean, that would definitely get the community going crazy for sure for more StarCraft. If you didn't want to do a full-blown StarCraft 3, then make another expansion for StarCraft 2. Why not? Why can't you just continue that? Because they're still doing the esports scene. StarCraft is still a juggernaut esport. Yes, it's not as big as League of Legends, CSGO, Call of Duty, all these other games, but it's still a juggernaut in the space. And I think that if they continue building upon what they started, they've got something special with StarCraft. We've seen games like Stormgate come out. And Stormgate is from a lot of the developers of StarCraft 2 and Warcraft. And it's done really well, but at the same time, it's still not StarCraft. I feel that they've got something really special with the StarCraft universe, in the StarCraft lore, the multiplayer, all of those different things, guys. If they just, at the very least, made another expansion and continued to service this game for the foreseeable future, even if it's just StarCraft 2, not StarCraft 3, it's going to quench everyone's thirst. If you made an expansion for StarCraft 2 once again, a fourth expansion, and you added microtransactions into it, they're going to make money. Whether it's from esports microtransactions or just normal microtransactions, different skins, different ways that you can customize different items, different units, things of that nature, it could be massive. They're just not, they've kind of put it on the back burner and they're working on their bigger titles, which from a business perspective, I get it. But StarCraft 3, guys, if we don't echo that into existence, we've got to echo another expansion in StarCraft 2. I just don't want to see my favorite RTS and what I believe to be the greatest RTS of all time slowly fade into the abyss. I want this to get back to the forefront of not only esports, but also just the RTS genre. Bring this thing back. Think about it. I mean, we think about how a lot of gaming in general is cyclical, you know, and so right now, the hottest games are going to be like your shooters, your Marvel Rivals, your CSGO, your Valorant, your Call of Duty, all those different games. But the RTS genre was massive. Just a matter of time before it becomes the new in once again. And so all it takes is a StarCraft 3, I believe, is what they should do. But at the very least, they could do another StarCraft 2 expansion. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about all this. I would love to have a real conversation about it. This is a huge topic, guys, and I just believe that StarCraft needs to continue in one way, shape, or form. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And for more StarCraft 3 content and videos, keep it right here.